Hi guys, how are we? I hope everyone's having a good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, or wherever you are in the time zone. I'm just gonna see, the comments should load up. Oh yeah, now I see them. Thank you very much, Cherry Blossom. I hope you're doing well too. We're going to start with an opening prayer, and you can just pop your comments in, and we'll get going once I do my opening prayer. Okay, so the opening prayer this evening is: Father, Mother, Spirit, God, I invite you to move in and around us this evening and provide healing to where it is needed most. I ask that people can feel the love and the light and the essence of Spirit with them and get the guidance that they so would like to receive. And when your work here is done and when our energy is spent, I ask that the healing energies go back to those who need it most and out to the outers of the eaters of the universe where it is needed most. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to get started. So I have the comments are loading up, so I can see Bernie O'Connor, Teeny. Hi, Dawn Johnston, Donna Ray. Hello, everybody. Okay, Bernie O'Connor, Teeny. Can I work with you? I don't know if I'm pronouncing the Teeny part well, but can I work with you, please? Just say yes or no as we go along. Hi, Bernie. Hi, Bernie. I'm not. I just say if I can work with you or not, because just for the interactive part of it. I'm not sure if I'm seeing all the comments or not. Okay. Hi, Don Johnson. How are you? Okay, I'm going to go with Dawn Johnson. If I can work with you, please. Thank you. Okay, Dawn. The first thing I'm feeling around you is I'm noticing. I feel like I have an older gentleman in spirit, and the first thing he's doing is he's taking his hand out, and he's trying to bring you along on your path, if that's fair to say. And so I'm working with you, Dawn Johnson. Thank you. And just yes or no as we go through it. And what I feel, Dawn, is I feel I have a gentleman coming forward, and I feel like it's a dad energy, if that's fair to say. And I'm also drawn to granddad as well. So I'm going with the strong males on your side, but very much somebody kind of bringing you out after a dark period of time. And what I mean by that is they're starting to bring you out of yourself that little bit more. And I also showed him as well, this gentleman, and he showed me a wedding ring, okay? And I'm not sure if you've had a separation or that you've lost somebody in spirit or whatever, but they're telling me that that you're coping is what I'm saying, and they're telling me as well that you've been through a lot, if that's fair to say, and they're telling me that you've had a lot going on. And with this gentleman kind of coming through, he's very much saying to me as I'm looking at him, whatever, he's showing me kind of you, how shall I put this? He's showing me kind of you trying your best to find a new normal, if that's fair to say, and you trying to find your bearing with things, if that's fair to say. And he's saying to me as well, he's saying that he's helping you, I suppose, really. It's about emotions and it's about grief, and he's saying to me that you've had a loss recently, and I feel maybe you might have lost your husband, or I feel that you've lost another male in spirit. He's bringing through here another male or whatever, and he's like showing another male getting off a boat, if you can understand that or whatever, and he's just bringing them forward. And what he's saying to me is he's saying that they're safe and that they're in spirit, but I see you looking around and you're kind of like, what am I going to do now? What way do I move on? What is my life supposed to look like, and how am I supposed to feel? Is this making sense to you so far? And I feel with this gentleman as well, he's saying to me that you're finding a lot of strength, and I feel like there's younger children around you, and I feel like you're knocking some strength from them. And I also feel as well, he showed me another gentleman in the physical world coming in, kind of helping out and kind of being there for you or whatever. But I feel like maybe in many respects that you're trying your best to be in good form. And he's saying just to meet yourself where you're at and just allow your heart to feel and just allow things to start to come right slowly but surely. You're just going through a bit of a season at the minute, if that's fair to say. And what he means by season is it's kind of, what would I say here? It's, you're going through the motions and you kind of just have to go through it, so to speak. And he's advising you not to suppress it. Now, with this gentleman that I have here, and dad in spirit, or whatever, he's a kind of he's a tall man or whatever, but he's talking to me about his aches and pains, and he's also talking to me as well about feeling a little moody. And he's saying to me at times I could be very, very direct, and I could be very, very straightforward, and sometimes I didn't deal with the loving end of things very, very well. And he's saying I didn't deal with the younger side of things very, very well. And he's also saying to me as well that he didn't deal with, what would I say here is, I feel like you always knew you were loved by this gentleman. I feel like you always knew you were looked after and cared for, whatever. But I feel that when it comes to the opening of heart and the speaking about things, he's telling me that he didn't really do that stuff very well. But he wants you to know that he's there for you and he's helping you cope. I'd also ask as well, can you understand why this gentleman will be talking to me about a loss that you have experienced lately? Because he's talking to me about a physical loss you've experienced lately. I feel that you've had a funeral, and I feel that somebody has newly joined him in spirit, and I feel that somebody has started out on their spiritual journey, and he's telling me that I'm bringing them forward, if that's fair to say. And he's saying that he's bringing this person through in spirit. He's very much showing me as well, kind of, and he's talking about your life and where you're at, and he's saying very much he wants you to focus on the future, focusing on what's going to happen going forward. Don't get caught up in all the other stuff. I feel like your home life, and when I look in kind of the zone around your physical space, it feels, he's telling me, a little bit disorganized in ways, and I feel like you're not informed, if that's fair to say. And I feel that you're a little bit fed up, and you're just feeling a little bit disheartened, if that's the right word. But this gentleman is saying, he's saying that things are going to get a little, it's going to get better for you as time goes on. But he wants to encourage you to take little steps to bring you forward, and he wants to bring you forward in a you know, in a more balanced way. But he's talking as well about this other gentleman that's in spirit with him, or whatever. He's also talking to me as well about another gentleman or whatever, and I feel there's somebody around it that might have, I don't know if they have got it, but he's talking to me about their mental health, and he's talking to me about kind of their behavior and stuff, and it's maybe stressing you out, if that's fair to say, and it's causing you to have heart palpitations, and it's causing you to just feel a little bit offbeat, if that's fair to say. And he's just saying, you know what, when you're feeling down, and when you're feeling, I don't want to say depressed, but when you're feeling really the lower energies, he's saying that's your body and your mind saying, I've had enough, I can't take anymore. It's that step back that he's talking about. And it's saying to me that, what would I say here? It's saying to me that, how should I change this? It's saying to me that something else this gentleman is kind of bringing forward as well. This gentleman as well, he's showing me here something around having a fall, and he's showing me here something around his throat being blocked before he passed, and he's showing me as well, just let us know how much of this you can take, or what's, you know, how we're getting on. And he's showing me just the chest or whatever, and something around getting a wrap around the chest. And he's showing me here things around his blood pressure and all that kind of stuff or whatever. But the essence of what he wants to send you, but he's encouraging you to do you right now. Just be there for yourself, focus, and try and get a sense of perspective of the things that I can change, the things I can't change. I feel that this man is very, okay, brilliant, Don. I feel that this man is very practical, methodical. He's very left and right. He's kind of sorting things out for you. He's saying, I'm clearing the path, but you must walk it, okay? So I'm going to leave his love there for you, and his kind leave it there. Thank you so much, Dawn Johnston. Just any feedback would be great. Just a few sentences to let us know how we get on. Thank you. I know that girl is Bernie O'Connor Teeny. How are you, Bernie? No problem at all, Don. I hope you could take the person's spirit. You're very welcome. The girl, yeah, can't, Barney O'Connor Thingy. Just let us know. Otherwise, I'll move on. Yeah, yes, you're here, Bernie. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Bernie. Okay. Okay. And just say yes or no or whatever as we go through it. You don't have to be, over the top, but just say yes or no because it's good to get the interaction. But anyway, spirit for you, okay? And she's showing me you leaving something down on a grave, if that's fair to say. And she showed me kind of flowers, and I feel like this is mum in spirit, and mum is talking to me about getting her hair done, and mum is talking to me about grief, and she's talking to me about loss, and she's talking to me about clearing away the tears from her eyes or whatever, and she's showing me flowers, and she showed me flowers on graves, and she showed me a funeral procession that was hers, and she showed me the sun coming in, and she's saying it's all a very much a lovely rosy affair, if that's fair to say. And I feel like this lady is behind you in spirit quite a long while, if that's fair to say, and she's around you, and she's just showing me confetti around you, okay? So I feel like there's a wedding coming up. She's talking to me about a wedding that's coming up, and she's talking to me about celebration or whatever, and she's talking to me as well about adult children around you and about them kind of growing up and kind of doing their own thing. And dare I say that you fit quite nicely into the whole grand scheme of things, if that's fair to say. This lady is also talking to me as well about colour. She's telling me that she loved colour and she loved flowers. And I'm also being a bit presumptuous here, but I feel your name is an Irish name, a certain familiarity with that. And with this lady, whatever, she's talking to me about how she loved colours, or she was drawn to kind of colours. And I'm showing her wearing a red top and a yellow top, and she's laughing and showing me the kind of colours. And could you understand why this lady maybe is saying that you had a bit of a laugh around the clothes that she used to wear? And she's saying that the clothes that I would wear today, it feels very old-fashioned, and she's saying if I wore it today I wouldn't be allowed outside the house. It's very, very old-fashioned. She's saying that very much tongue-in-cheek. This lady's also showing me as well netted curtains, and she's showing me her house, and I feel that with the lady, she's roaming around the house, and she's showing me like a fireplace, and she's showing me an old heart in the fire. The heart is in the centre of, we'll say, I don't even know. To me, the modern word would be fireplace. To her, she calls it the heart. Okay, she calls it the heart in a different language. To me, maybe it's like an Irishy. She's talking nearly very, 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 very Irishy, whatever. She nearly wants to just jump right in there and take control of my voice. She nearly wants to start talking very Irishy country kind of language, if that's fair to say. And this lady as well, she's poking the fire, and she's bringing it's like she showed me an old kettle on the boil, like an old black kettle, and she's showing me the smoke rising up out of it, and she's basically having great fun where she is right now, and she's showing me kind of the smoke coming out of the fireplace or whatever, and she's roaming around, and she's showing me as well another gentleman she brings in for me here. She brings in another gentleman, and he's smoking a pipe, and she's stooped over, okay, and she's kind of laughing at this gentleman because she's saying he's putting it on, but he's not. He's that, she's trying to straighten him up and get a set on him. This gentleman is quite even further back in spirit, shall we say. And I feel with this gentleman, she showed me maybe the energy of her brother. And she showed me this man as a bachelor, if that's fair to say. And she's talking to me about kind of her brother in spirit, but she's talking to me about the people that I would hang around with. My words, not hers, but the people that are of her generation. She's saying we're very, very plain, very, very simple people, and very, very no mod con, so to speak, or whatever. But she loved it that way or whatever, and she just loved her home, and she just loved being in the kitchen, and the kitchen was her. She was nearly synonymous with the kitchen. And she's also bringing me as well, and she's showing me kind of arrangements are made around her grave. She's talking to me very strongly about arrangements made around her grave and flowers being laid on the grave or whatever, and bits of flowers and bits around the grave has been disturbed as of late. So I feel that somebody has joined them in the cemetery or whatever. And she's saying that we're all together now. We're all together now. We're all back around the one table again, drinking from the one cup, she says. She's saying that we're all together now. And she's basically showing me as well with the holy water and blessing the grave. And she's very much a one for, she's very exact, okay? She's very exact. And what I mean by that is, oh crap, she said my signal's breaking up. She's very, very exact. And what she means by being very, very exact is that she likes things to be done in order, but she also understands not to get too caught up in things, if that's fair to say. And she's also saying to me as well that in terms of where you're at and kind of where you're going with things, she's saying, I feel that you're at peace with yourself, and that you're taking things as much as they come. I feel it when I tune into your energy. I feel that there's a difference between you and this lady in many respects. And obviously age would be the first thing, and the times we live in would be the second thing. But that she would, what would I say here? There's certain things that she showed me. She's kind of gone over and back, or maybe it's me going over and back properly. But she's showing me kind of your home, and I feel your home is quite comfortable, and I feel that it's quite relaxed, and there seems to me to be a nice kind of an energy in your home, and I feel that you're in quite a nice place or whatever. And she's basically talking to you about, I feel like there's been a loss in the family quite recently, if that's fair to say. But she's saying that. She's saying that that's brilliant, that it's good. Thank you for letting me know. She's saying that there's been a loss in the family as of recently or whatever, and I feel that it's been quite a young loss, if that's fair to say. And I feel that it's not you, but I feel that there's somebody around you within the family unit that is grieving. And just talk to me about having the youngster here. I have the youngster here with me, and she said she has this youngster kind of brought in or whatever, and she's talking to me about a gentleman as well that I feel maybe had a trouble in water, or got into some problems around water, and she's saying that she looked after them, that she got them to where they needed to go, that they're home with me now, and that they're safe and they're well, and she wants to pass on that message to the grieving parents, if that's fair to say. But overall, I hope you can take that message. Just let us know if you could understand that or not. Thank you so much for letting me use your time and your energy, and yeah, lots of love and blessings to you. Thank you very much for tuning in, Bernie. Thank you. Let me see. Is Teresa Carty there? Teresa Carty, let me see if you're there. Thank you. Hi, Teresa. How are you? Thank you so much. Okay. I have a gentle. You're very welcome, Bernie. I'm glad that that made sense and you got something out of that. Thank you. You're so welcome. Thank you. Teresa Carty, how are you? Okay, Teresa. I have. I'm getting the oldies. I have this gentleman coming through, whatever, and he's saying to me, tongue in cheek, he's saying I'm a bit of a hypochondriac. That's my words on him, but that's he's saying that to him more so. But what I'm saying to him is this: he's saying to me, I'm a bit of an exaggerator. He goes, and if I kind of had a pain, if I had a pain in my toenail or a pain in my toe, I'd nearly think it was hanging off me. Okay, that's the first thing this gentleman wants to say to me, and he's also saying to me as well that I don't think he's too happy that I said that, but anyway, he's saying to me that he had a very hard life, and he's kind of chastising me a little bit. And he's saying, I've had a very hard life, and I've had to work very, very hard, and I feel like he worked in the bog, and I feel he was a farmer, and I feel with this man strenuous, and I feel like in some ways I caught up on him. He's also drawn me as well to dampness around him or whatever, and he's talking to me about not having great quality of clothes and the era that he lived in. And I feel with this person, he's telling me about your, I'm not sure if you're married, I feel like he's talking to me about your husband's side of the family, and he feel like he's talking to me about being a grandfather. I feel he's going quite back in spirit, but he's trying to bring the rest through. He's also talking to me as well about a little girl, and he's talking to me about a little girl that he has in spirit along with him, and that he's minding the little girl, and he's looking upon this little girl in spirit very, very fondly, if that makes any sense. And he's got a lot of compassion or whatever, and he's minding her. And this gentleman as well, basically, my dad, he worked in the mines, okay. And I felt like with this gentleman, I was drawn to the bog. He talks to me very strongly about the bog, and he talks to me very strongly about like cutting turf, and he talks to me very strongly about just kind of lying in damp conditions and being very, very damp in his bones and stuff. And he comes back up, and he gets out to me there at the start. So I feel with this gentleman that he's quite, you know, he's not going to take much messing. Okay, that's what I will say. He's not going to take much messing. But what he wants to say to you is, he's talking to me here about your husband, or he's talking to me. I'll put it like this: I feel like I'm drawn to you in a relationship, and I feel like I'm talking as well about something here in spirit with the so your left, this person right, somebody here, your partner to the right. I'm drawn to his family tree. I'm drawn to the other half of you. He's talking here about the other half of you as well. And he's talking to me here about, I feel the spirit that we're talking about, I feel that he's talking to me about somebody belonging to you, the other half of you. I'm not sure if you're married, but I want to feel that you are. And I feel that he's talking to me about somebody in your husband's lineage. He's just getting that kind of a vibe by this man. And this man that I'm talking about as well, I'm very much sure he's talking to me about living alone, and he's talking to me kind of about when I say living alone, like I feel like I don't want to say like it's very much a singular energy of him. I don't feel that he's got people around him in the house kind of doing bits and pieces for him. So I feel like that's the next thing he's talking to me about or whatever. But he's also drawn to me as well. He's talking to me about I'm married 32, okay. But I feel like this gentleman that I'm talking about, I don't feel that it's your dad. Okay, I don't feel it's your dad. I feel I'm drawn to your husband, and I'm drawn to, again, they're just giving me his side very, very strongly. And they're saying to me something about on his side, but this gentleman that they're talking about, he feels like somebody that didn't have children, and he feels like he had a single energy, this gentleman. And I feel like maybe he was like an uncle, or he was like, he's saying about uncle, and he's saying to me as well about, he's saying to me as well about being a kind of a bachelor kind of a feel to this gentleman. And he's also talking as well about a young girl that he's with in spirit, a young child, whatever. And I feel this gentleman, he likes children like him more so. Children are drawn to him for his simplicity, for his ability to just kind of be really, hard working, but more importantly, I feel like he does a really good job of just being present is what I would say. I feel like this child that he has in spirit that he's talking about may be connected to you, and I feel that it might have been a child that maybe didn't live very long in this world, or maybe from the moment of conception onwards, just feels like quite a young child, but he has this child in spirit with him. And I feel there's a lot of children, there's a lot of people that are in and out of his energy or whatever. But the message that he wants to bring forward to you, whatever, is he's showing me your house, and I'm drawn to your house, your sitting room, whatever, and it feels quite strong or whatever. And could you understand why I'm being shown something here around your husband, or I'm showing somebody kind of cutting down a tree, and I'm kind of showing kind of physical kind of okay, that would make sense then. And I feel like basically he's showing me as well, could you understand, he's talking to me about your husband who is cutting down a tree, and he's showing me your husband or somebody kind of cutting down a tree and changing things around, whatever. I feel like your husband is quite a physical man, but could you understand why he's talking to me about your husband being maybe a little bit in bed more, or is he like not as physical as what he would like to be, or has his I feel like, I'll put it this, I feel like his energy levels has dipped is what he's talking to me. And he's saying to me that he's sending you lots of love and healing over the next couple of weeks and months, and he's basically telling me that things is going to be okay, and he's sending in healing and love and light towards your towards your husband, and he's giving him healing, and he's putting hands on his shoulders, and he's just he's just like sending in lots of healing. I'm doing it here, I'm sure, through him, whatever. He's just sending in lots of love and lots of healing. And what else can I say about this gentleman towards you, whatever? He's telling me that you're worried about something at the minute, okay? And he's saying that you have absolutely no control over the outcome, if that makes sense. And he's saying to me that while it's understandable that we would worry, and it's upsetting to say the least, he wants to assure you that the love of spirit is around you, and that you will be okay, and that all will work out. You'll be minded throughout the whole situation. He wants to send in prayers and lots of healing. This gentleman is very much connected to your husband, I feel, very much connected on his side of the family. I just felt that if it was dad coming through, I felt it would have been, and he is there around you, whatever, I felt it would have been much more kind of direct. I feel with this, I feel with this gentleman, I feel that he's quite, I feel that he's it's about your husband's side, and I just don't feel he's very closely connected to you, if that's fair to say. But the message is there all around. And I'm also drawn as well. Okay, and I'm also drawn as well to this gentleman as well, and he's showing me cows and cattle and farm animals, and I think these farm animals and stuff is around you. But before I finish the message, I suppose I would just ask, can you understand why he'd be talking about your husband and healing around your husband at the minute, is what I would say. He's talking very strongly about healing coming in around your husband, and your husband being a little bit low in energy. And he's also just saying that lots of prayers and healing is coming in there for him and for all of you or whatever. But I'm going to just leave his kindness and his love and his message with you. And I hope that makes some sense for you. Thank you so much for coming on. And wonderful to connect for you. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you, Teresa. Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you so much. Is Susan Carey there? I'm not sure if Susan Carey is there. Hi, Annette, Katrina, Lisa, Christina. Hi. Let me see. Is I don't know if that's Susan Carey still there, so I'm going to have to move on. Okay, I'm going to go with Christine Campbell. Could I work with you, please? Christine Campbell. Are you there, Christine? Okay, I'm going to have to move on. I'll give you just a few seconds to reply. Okay, we're going to have to move on. Is Bernie Green there? I think you are, Bernie. Anyway, Bernie. Hi, Bernie. Could I work with you, Bernie Green, please? Oh, Susan Carey's here. But look, I'm going to have to go with Bernie because I just have to move on because I just didn't get the response in time enough. But if I can come back to you, I will, Susan. Bernie, are you there? Hi, Bernie. How are you? Okay. Let me see what I can get. Okay, the first thing I have is I have a man coming in, or sorry, I have a woman coming in from spirit, whatever, and they're man and woman together, and they've got a pain in their knee. So I'm working with you, Bernie Green. Bernie Green. Sorry, I called you Bernie Green. Bernie Gere, Gere. Okay, so Bernie, the first thing I'm drawing in is, and like they're talking to me first of all about a pain in your knee. So I feel like they're drawing me to that with you first of all, or whatever. But the next thing I have is I have an old lady here. And as she comes forward, she's in a Zimmer frame. And just let us know yes or no as we go throughout it. And she's talking to me. I see this lady coming up a hall in a nursing care home. And she's kind of telling me that she was in there a while, and she's talking to me about coming up the corridor or whatever, and kind of moving things out of her way. And she's showing me, I feel like you're coming in to visit this lady, and she's talking to me about you. She talked to me at the start about your knee problem, all right. And but the first, we just connect with the essence of the spirit first, and the person in spirit. And the person in spirit is saying to me that she's saying to me basically that she was in a care home, and she's saying that you used to come in and visit her. And I've been showing chocolates and sweets, and I've been showing her pictures. And I feel like this lady, your mum, okay. And I feel with this lady that she was in spirit, that she was in the nursing care for quite a few years. And sadly to say to this poor lady, some people do fit into it very, very well. Some people do adjust in time. But I feel with this lady, she never really took to it, and she never really it was always a challenge for her to be in this place. And it was always a challenge for her, I feel, maybe in ways she felt very boxed in, if that is fair to say. And I feel in saying that, she's saying that you've done your black best to make it as home away from home as much as you possibly could. You made it very, very very, very homely for her. You basically, I feel like in terms of her home, she showed me this room that she's in, and she's showing me a lot of photographs and chocolates and flowers, and she's just showing me, like, as in this place, it's like, I feel like her home that she lived in for quite a period of time. And I feel like you nearly took an awful lot of the different things that made her home and brought it into this nursing home and tried to replicate, so she wasn't going to feel the loss of the home, if that's fair to say. Sorry, my back's just itchy. And she's talking to me basically. She wants to thank you for that, is the first thing. And she wants to say, she's crying because she's crying because she's saying it doesn't take much to reduce me to tears, is what she's saying. And she's saying that I'm very emotional, and it's like, I feel with this lady, it's like as soon as she starts to talk, she's nearly crying. She's just, this lady is full of emotion, and every time she goes to talk, she nearly breaks into tears. But as I take her by the arm, and as she's linking her across or whatever, she wants to give you a kiss on the cheek, and she just wants to express her gratitude for all that you have done, and for all that you have done to make her last years very, very comfortable, and for your kindness and your care. The next thing this lady wants to say to me is, could you understand that she was in the nursing home, or in this nursing home, for maybe a period of 4 to 5 years? I feel she was in it for maybe quite a period of time, or maybe I put it this, I feel that she got the last 5 years of her life was very, very was more tough and more challenging. And she's telling me my mind started to go as time went on. She's talking to me about she's not saying I had dementia or Alzheimer's, but she's just saying my concentration, my way of figuring things out got more crisscrossed, confused. I just got more confused as time went on, if that's fair to say. But because even though I got more confused, it doesn't mean that I didn't notice, and it doesn't mean that I didn't know. It doesn't mean that I didn't notice things going on around you. Now, she's coming in for your energy, and I don't know if you've got sons. She's talking to me about sons. I feel it could be her sons. And she's showing me kind of, I feel like in your life at the minute, like she's showing me that you're trying to move things out of your way, if that's fair to say. And she's saying that you're a little bit, what would I say here is, you're waiting for news on something, okay? And I know we're not supposed to talk medical stuff and all that, but I'll just say, you're waiting for the news of something to come up. You're waiting on some sort of a procedure to be done, okay? And she's saying to me that with that, she's saying to just allow yourself to allow it to come, okay? She's saying you don't do very well when you have nothing to do. And she's saying to me that you're a little bit of a worrier. And she's saying to me that you overthink things or whatever, and you get yourself worked up into an awful state. And she's saying, stop that, you're frightening yourself. She's very stern, and she's saying, stop that, you're frightening yourself, you're working yourself up. And she's saying, I'm back in form now, I'm in spirit, and I'm well, and I'm back to where I'm at. I'm fully me, my personality is well intact. It's my turn now to start decomplicating things for you, if that's fair to say. And it's my turn now to help you with something. She's showing me here paperwork, and she's showing me here you're trying to get something sorted out medically. You're trying to get something organized, and she's saying to me that you're trying your best to bring something forward. And what I would say with that is that she's saying, have faith, ask her for help. She's saying, they won't allow me up there. She said, they won't allow me to interfere like I did down here. You have to ask me before I'm allowed, because she's saying, I want to come in and I want to help. She goes, but there's somebody up there that are holding her back, because they're saying quite lovingly and quite carefully, they're saying, you can't do that. You have to wait for her to ask. We can't let you interfere. It's like God is telling her, you can't interfere until she asks. But she's saying that she wants you to know that she's around you and that she'll help. But she's saying it's so important. You must give her the keys in a sense. You must allow her to work in your life. You must allow her to help you move things forward. I feel like when I'm in tune with your house, whatever, I feel like there's one room in your house that you spend a lot of time in. And I feel like it's nearly like everything else you're trying to organize around the house, that you're in quite maybe a bit of pain, and that you're struggling an awful lot maybe to do things the way that you would like to do them. And she's saying to me that at times you really struggle to just kind of be upbeat and be positive. It's nearly just trying to get from A to Z by one end of the day to the next or whatever. And she's saying that has to stop. She's saying, like, yes, you need to get by, but she's saying you can't give up. You have to get your bearings. You have to get yourself sorted out. You have to, do your basics anyway, and everything else will come into place. She goes, if you don't have the basics right, she goes, you'll just never be right. This lady is a sucker for cold, hard discipline is what I would say. And she's saying this lady is a sucker for cold, hard discipline, and she's a woman of service when she was in good form in over the years. And I feel like she raised like quite a few children, if that's fair to say. She's talking about other children, and I feel maybe she had quite a big household. I also feel that she came from a big family of brothers and sisters, and I feel that she really was a matriarch. And she's. I don't agree with this, but it's not up to me to agree. It's up to me to deliver the message. She said, I don't believe in mental health, so to speak. You get up and you get on with things, and you do your bits and pieces and you get on with it. And, you don't get too much caught up in the things, and don't be overthinking. She's really going that way. And she's just saying, I know you're not well, and I know you're not feeling well. She goes, but we have to get you right. And she goes, that's all I want to do. She's saying, her mother, wow. And she's saying to me, 7 and 21, because she's saying to me that as well, she's coming forward, she's saying to me that God, I lost my thought there, sorry. She's saying to me that that's it, that her job is to get you well. Her job is to get you right and to get you focused on the straight and narrow. She will stop thinking about today, tomorrow, or stop thinking about yesterday and tomorrow. Think about today. Get your ducks in a row. She goes, you'll be fine. She's saying, don't give up hope. That's the last thing she wants to say, is do not give up hope. Her job this evening is to connect with you, to show you that she's always there, but she has to be asked to work in your life. So if you take nothing else from this evening, she's saying, ask me to help and I will help. But she goes, most importantly, the answer will be given to you in the way that I always gave it to you. What would I do in this situation? And that is the essence of what she would want for you, that the personality, who she is, what she believes, what she taught, that still remains unchanged, regardless of her physical death, and she wants to bring you forward too. All right. So lots of love and lots of kindness and lots of good wishes to you this evening, Bernie. Thank you for letting me work with you. Thank you so much. Okay. Could I work with Helen Mansell, please? I know there was other people that was slow in getting back, and that was through no fault of their own. It was the way it worked out. So I apologize that I didn't get to go back to you. It's just I have to keep going, because we can't wait too long for people either. So but I know for people it is frustrating that when you are picked and then you just weren't in time. I know that can be annoying, but just for the content of the live, we have to try and keep moving. All right, but thank you. Yes, Helen Mansell, how are you? Okay. Let's see what we can get for you. Okay, I have a gentleman in spirit. And he's coming in, and he's a little bit of a character, and he's singing to me the song. I don't know if I'm singing it to him or he's singing it to me, but he's singing me the song. We're going to do the twist, and it goes like this. Let's watch again. And he's saying to me that he's he's very jovial in his approach, if that's fair to say. And with this gentleman coming forward, whatever, he's saying to me that he's showing me like you putting on a bracelet, okay, if that's fair to say, and he's showing me you kind of looking in the mirror and you getting ready to go to something, okay. So I feel that with this gentleman or whatever, I feel that you've had something very civil going on at the minute, and I feel that there's been trouble around you, he's telling me, and there's been a lot of waves going on. Just say yes or no as we go throughout this thing. And I feel with this gentleman or whatever, I'm drawn here to, and again, I'm kind of maybe a little bit guilty for going for the granddads, but I'm drawn to the granddad, but he's talking to me as well about somebody younger being brought in around him, whatever, and he's talking to me about a loss that you would have had, and he's talking to me as well about you kind of putting on a bracelet, or like, you just showing me this like bracelet that you have or whatever, and he's showing me you kind of putting it on and kind of getting dressed up to go out the mirror, or to go out looking in the mirror to go out the door. But with this gentleman as well, whatever, have him standing back, whatever, this man, he's showing me him later, he's talking about his funeral, that's what he's talking about, and he's talking to me, whatever. I feel like it's a dad energy, and I feel maybe he hasn't passed away quite long, and he showed me kind of the funeral or whatever, and he showed me kind of the coffin, and he just showed me him kind of in this suit, if you can understand this. And he's saying to me as well, like, whatever, I'm drawn to his glasses or whatever, and a kind of a plumpish face or whatever, and I feel like there was a lot of love around him, and I feel like there was a lot of kids and you know, family and stuff, and I feel that my son has had some problems and lost his friend a few weeks ago. Yeah, and basically, I suppose what I would say first of all, I feel like with this gentleman or whatever, it's like he feels quite, don't just, thank you for your feedback, just don't say too much, because I think we can just try and get it as clear as we can get it, and then whatever you can say, yes, no, or whatever. But thank you, Helen. And what I'm saying by this gentleman, whatever, I feel like that he showed me kind of the ages of 86 or 87, okay? And he showed me younger grandchildren around him. And I feel with this gentleman, all throughout his life, there was always children around him. And I feel that he always loved being around children. I feel that children was drawn to him. But I'm drawn to this man in the coffin, and I'm showing him kind of his face kind of like swollen out, if that's fair to say. And he's telling me that I had a lot of medical procedures before I passed. And he's saying they kind of poked and prodded at me, and they kind of got at me at every angle. And he's saying my body was fairly beaten up by the time I passed, if that's fair to say. And he's saying once he died, he's saying, whew, I was so glad to be out of there. I was so glad to be out of that physical body. I knew my time was coming, but by God, he goes, that I have to put some resistance. He's also talking to me as well about medical procedures, and he's talking to me about things feeling very evasive, and he's talking to me about people like nurses and doctors, kind of things have to be put down his throat, and you know, just it feels quite evasive is what I would say. But the message he wants to come across to you is he wants to tell you how proud he is of how well you conducted yourself in his funeral, how well you read out I feel you read out something, a poem or a eulogy, or you played some sort of a part. But I'll put it like this, it wasn't a reading, it was something that was about his life, and I feel you read out something from his life, if that's fair to say. And he's saying I was very touched by that, I read that, he was very, very proud of you. Now, this gentleman as well is also talking to me as well about a young little boy in your world, and I feel there's a young little child around you or whatever, and I feel it's maybe a son, and I feel that you're going to be bringing up this child, and I feel that this gentleman is talking to me very strongly. He's putting his hand on the young son, and he's giving them healing and love and blessings, and he's saying, I'm going to be watching that young lad from where I am. I'm going to be keeping an eye on him as he grows up. And he's saying to me as well that this young gentleman that in child he's talking about in this world, he's saying that you're very, what would I say, this young lad is very sensitive, and is a real, what would I say here, I'm drawn to like an indigo child, and I'm not sure what an indigo child is. I've heard it before and I'm a little bit spaces, but what I'm going to say about this child is Yeah, he's talking to me about this, but he's talking to me very okay. What he's talking to me very strongly about a young child, okay, and he's saying about this young child who's going to grow up to be very, very gifted and is very, very sensitive and is going to see the world very, very differently to how other people see the world. And he's also talking to me as well about this child being sensitive and being upset and things upsetting this child that maybe mightn't upset most people, and just being very impressionable and just being very, very sensitive, but being a very lovely, gentle creature. He's also talking to me as well about this child and teddies, and he's showing me kind of he's just having fun with this child. But I feel this child that he's talking about is a child that's coming, that's along the way. I feel like it's if they're not in this world, it's already he's talking very strongly about a young child that he's looking forward to playing a part in them growing up, and he's going to be their spirit guide, and he's going to be helping them from this side, and he's talking very, very strongly about that. Now, you mentioned the older son, and when you mentioned the older son, I'm drawn here to the hand, and I feel that this might be something to do with this son's son maybe in time to come, and he's just doing this thing up here, and he showed me, I feel that he's drawn to this man's hand on your son's shoulder, whatever. And I feel very much with this son, he's very much pushing him on, driving him on, telling him, what would I say here? That I would say, what's the word to say? Encouraging him to go for things, if that's fair to say. I feel with this person you're talking about, he's talking to me about a son or children coming up over the next couple of years. But I feel with this lad, maybe he's done a bit of traveling and he's going to do a bit more traveling. But I'm also showing as well something around bookies and gambling, or I wouldn't say gambling, but it's in an addictive way. But it's in, like, I'm drawn here to like betting. Okay, I'm drawn here to like betting on clothes, or not clothes, and putting down bets or whatever. And I feel it is quite like a jocular energy and a joking, young, kind of laughy, kind of energetic, kind of what would I say here? I wouldn't say like as in just being a young person, really, like, and just being a person of his age. But over the next couple of years, he's pushing this young lad on, and he's talking to me about this young lad. Everybody calls me. He'll be getting older, he'll be having kids, and he'll be having a family, and that things will come full circle for him, and that he'll be all right. And what he's also saying to me as well is he's just saying that for you, I feel that I'm drawn to you very much as a young person, and I feel maybe that you look quite young for your age, or I feel that you're just quite young. I feel that you're very much. I put it like this: he's doing the cat calling, like the woo woo. He's like whistling at you, like in a joking way, and he's saying, "Oh, you look good," like, you know, kind of. You're all dressed up, and I feel like when you are walking into rooms, or I feel like when you're out, I feel like that people turn their head and look twice at you. So I feel like he's talking to me about you just being a very attractive girl and being very, very well turned out when you go out, and he's just saying that you've got a what I say, like a very young energy, okay, and just vibrant, and so to speak. But with this man or whatever, he's coming forward, and he's just he's saying, before he lets it go, he's just saying that he really wants you to just make the most of things, okay? Make the most of things, and know that he's around you, and he wants you to listen to your heart. I feel that there's a decision to be made around a relationship, or I feel that there's it's all to play for yet, and he's just saying, listen to your heart and know that I love you. I always have done, and I always will do, okay? Thank you. Yeah, that would make sense, because I felt like, obviously, because I don't know you, but I felt like I was reading for a young person. Like, I felt like you were maybe a young person, but a young child. But as the story went on, he unpacked it more. But thank you so much for letting me read for you and connect for you. A pleasure to read for you. Thank you so much. We're gone 10 to 8, so I suppose we could do another few minutes as long as we're finished before 8. Let me see. Susan Carey. Could I work with you, please, Susan? Susan Carey, you there? Don't let me down, Susan. Not again. Okay, Susan, just let us know if you're there quickly, because I don't want to have to. Yes, Susan, you're there. Right, let's go. I have a gentleman step forward for you, okay? And I feel with this gentleman, he's got a bald head. I feel that he's got no hair, okay, like me, and I feel that he's got like a walking stick. I'm getting all the older people this evening, and he's coming forward and he's saying to me that I feel like he's talking to me here, Susan, about a fall, and he's talking to me about having some sort of a fall as he got out of bed. And he's saying to me that I got out of bed and I fell, and I feel that somebody came to pick him up or whatever. But he's saying after I had this fall that I wasn't right afterwards. And he's talking to me about an ambulance being called, and he's talking to me about the light going out in his house for the last time and him kind of having to go to hospital. And he's also talking to me as well about being very, very stubborn. He said I was very stubborn in ways because I didn't really want people fussing. I didn't really want people around me. I didn't really want to be told. And then I kind of had the fall, and it was kind of a case of I told you so, and it all just came raveling, you know. And he's saying as well, he's talking to me about his son picking him up, or he's saying your son picking me up. And he's talking to me as well about having a fall around his head and the head getting a little bit of a wrap. And he's talking to me as well about his arm. He's showing me his arm, and he's saying my arm was a bit sore and whatever. And he's just saying like after we went to hospital, I feel that he wasn't really right. I also feel as well with this gentleman or whatever, he's talking to me about I don't know if I'm a bit hesitant, so maybe I'm wrong on this, but I feel that like he's talking to me about a woman, but I for some reason I just don't feel that this woman was his wife, if that's fair to say. And I don't feel that this woman, I'm not sure who she was, but I feel like maybe it was his, I think he's talking to me about his sister. And could you understand the name Alf or Phyllis? Why he'd be talking to me about a name called Alf or Phyllis? And with this woman, he's talking to me about a sister in spirit. And this woman in spirit has got a long black or like a black skirt kind of thing, whatever. And she's saying that she came and she met me at the other side, and she kind of brought me forward or whatever. And he's saying everybody knew I was going to go at some stage, but nobody thought I was going to go then, if that's fair to say. And what he's bringing forward with this message is he's saying that he what can I say here? He's talking to me about feeling alone, and he's talking to me as well. That's it. He's talking to me about a woman in his life that wasn't in his life for a long, long period of time, and he's saying to me that it often played on my mind, if that's fair to say. And he's saying to me with this woman that I often used to think about her or whatever, but I hadn't seen her for a very, very long time, and I felt very estranged. I was estranged from her, if that's fair to say. He's also talking. Just let us know if you can make sense of this. And he's also talking to me as well about children or maybe younger people, and he's talking to me about having not seen them in quite a long period of time, and kind of as time got older that they kind of all became much more adrift, if that's fair to say. And he's talking to me about the wedding band or whatever, and he's saying that this wedding band, or he's married, but it's like this, it wasn't spoken about in an awful long while, that it was something that was all kind of kept suppressed and kept further back. But I just wanted to say that with this gentleman, whatever, coming forward or whatever, that he's talking to me basically about could you understand why he'd be talking to me about you having an argument with somebody? Because I'm talking here about you having an argument with somebody, and it's like something going on here around the throat, and I just see the throat spiraling up and the throat opening up, and he's talking to me about you speaking out more for yourself, if that's fair to say. Okay, you said not yet. Well, okay. Well, if you can't take, is there any of it that you can take, or is there parts that you couldn't take? Because if there's none of it that you can take, I suppose there's no point me really saying anymore. Okay. Okay. Yeah, but if there's, I'm not sure which part you said not yet. If you were saying not yet, isn't that none of it you could understand? Okay. So. Sorry, no, this is on me now. So you're saying yes to which? I'm after confusing myself, so I apologize. So can you okay, I suppose what we put it is, can you understand the man in spirit? Can you understand the message that he's given you so far? Okay, so you can't understand the message then. That's okay. That's all right. Well, look, if you can't understand it, you can't understand it. That's okay. I'm awful confused, sorry. Which part are you saying yes to? Because all I'm saying is yes and no, so I'm not sure which part you're saying yes. Just saying yes, you can understand, or no, you can't understand. That's the main thing. Yes, you can understand, is it? Oh, the arguments part, yeah. And he's talking to me about the arguments, and he's talking about the throat chakra, and he's talking about the throat kind of things getting leveled out and getting raveled out. You can't understand the man in spirit. I think he said no to that part. If you can't understand the man in spirit, that's okay. But I leave his love there with you, and I suppose the message of I've kind of lost the train of the message now, but we're going to have to wrap up because it's gone 2 minutes to 8. Yes, now. Okay, so you can understand the man in spirit. This is like a game of charades. Yes, you can understand. No, you can't. Yes, you can. No. So yes, now. Okay. Okay, it's just a bit hard to just know which part is saying yes or no to. We're gone 2 minutes to 8, or sorry, yeah, 2 minutes to 8. I'm going to have to close the live because there's somebody else coming on ahead of me at 8, or coming on now at 8. But Susan, I hope that made some sense. I know I kind of went a bit adrift towards the end, kind of got a bit all over the place, so I apologize for that. But we're going to have to close it because, yeah, it's there's somebody else coming in at 8. So we're going to close the live with just a short prayer and say, thank you very much, Spirit, for all your kindness and your love and your messages this evening. I thank you and I ask you to go forward now in peace and love and light. Thank you. Have a good evening, guys, and take care. Thank you.